This is an instructional safety video, intended for anyone who will be working with two lines. Though the video focuses primarily on scaffolding, the instructions hold true for anyone who has to use a safety harness. BIS Industrial Services is a leading industrial service company. Our slogan is Solutions for Industrial Services. Working at elevations is an important part of what we do. All of our staff working at elevations was accustomed to using the belt harness with a single line. We will now be working with two lines. How and why? This video will explain. This instructional video will deal with the following matters. First, we will address some legal aspects. Then we will look at what has changed now that we are working with two lines and what this means in day-to-day use. Finally, we will discuss some building methods. At the close of our instructional video, we will briefly review all the issues that have been addressed. So, first, the legal framework, which applies to everyone employed by BIS. Rules and regulations are set forth by each European country in accordance with EU guidelines. For those working in Belgium, the following rules apply. The employer will provide safety measures to prevent falling, whereby collective protective measures have priority over personal protective measures. The configuration and strength of these safety measures are such that falling from high elevations is prevented, or that a fall, should it occur, is arrested in such a way that bodily harm is avoided. For co-workers on jobs in the Netherlands, the following rules apply. 1. In work situations where there is a hazard of falling, secure scaffolding, landings or floors have to be constructed if possible. Otherwise, hazard has to be avoided by means of effective fencing, guardrails or other measures. 2. When the above measures are absent or only partially installed, hazard prevention must be accomplished through effective use of a safety harness with fall arrest line. This is the legal framework relating to our work. At BIS Industrial Services, we adhere to the following 8 safety principles. A handy reference card listing all of them is available on the job site. The reverse of the card states what BIS Industrial Services' principles intend to accomplish and how they may be implemented in everyday practice. In the course of this video, we will consider some of these rules in more detail. We are all responsible for our own safety, but experience shows that together we stand stronger. This can be done by watching out for one another and by pointing out risks, just like you would with your kids around the house. You wouldn't want them to get hurt, now would you? That's what we try to avoid. And to be honest, haven't we all been in a situation where we got away lucky? Where we had a near accident? If you have to work at height and you wish to return home safely in the evening, this is the time to pay attention. Because safe work habits are a necessity for your colleagues, your employer, and especially for yourself and your family, you would do well to watch this video attentively. Safety does not stop at the gate. Well, let's watch a demonstration of the use of two lines. We'll show you how working with two lines is best done. By now we all know that one hook may not always suffice. There will be too many instances where you will be completely unsecured, and that's a no-no. This has caused an accident a little while back. Just one unsecured step can have dire consequences. We never want to see this again. As of today, always stay hooked up. From now on, This is a necessity and of crucial importance. Let's take another look at the old situation. From now on, moving about on an incomplete floor without being hooked up is a thing of the past. Look at this guy. He is moving about on an incomplete floor without a line, and with just one line, he has no choice. This way of working can cause accidents. No more of this. As of today, you will no longer use the belt with one line, but with two. That is what has changed. Because we don't want your belt to be over 12 months old, you will be issued a brand new one at the beginning of each year. A simple coding system allows us to check when it was supplied. Watch. 2 or 3 digits on the dorsal plate. The first one or the first 2 numbers indicate the month of issue. The last number, the year. Check the condition of your belt before each use. Don't assume your new belt will just stay okay for a year. To help remind you how to inspect and use your harness belt properly, a little reference card is available, just like we have for the 8 safety principles. The card lists acceptable limits of wear. Straps may be neither torn nor cut, singed nor badly frayed, and they may not be heavily soiled. This belt has worn straps and needs to be replaced. The back of your card reviews all the component parts of your belt. One key rule. Make sure the belt fits snugly. Not too tight, but certainly not too loose. Always wear your belt and hook up wherever necessary. This is how to check the straps. This is how to check the hook. If your belt is defective or if you are in doubt, always contact your supervisor. The line is at most 2 meters long. You can choose to have a shorter one of 1.5 meters. Whenever you have to get up, use a ladder. Never climb up the rosettes. Hook up right away. Never hook up to conduits or other fragile parts. Never move about without using the second hook. First attach the second line, then unhook the first one. That's what matters when moving about. Always remain attached. We won't allow you to not be hooked up. This guy is doing it correctly. He is using both hooks alternately as he moves about, and he is never unsecured. That's the rule. And if that isn't possible, well, if it can be done safely, we won't do it at all. Pay attention. You are never working alone. You're always part of a team. That means you should look out for each other, like we said before. Correct each other and don't withhold others the benefit of your experience. You have been watching a demonstration of how to use 2 lines. Excellent. But as you all know, it's not always that simple. A suitable point of anchorage may be hard to find. When this happens, take your time. Don't be tempted to anchor to a weak point or a fragile process pipe. Also, try to hook up as high as possible. This will limit the free fall distance. And if you can't figure it out, don't do anything crazy. Contact your supervisor. From now on, belts will have 2 lines. You can put on your belt in several ways. This man puts his on the ground and steps into it. His colleague puts it on like a jacket. How you put it on doesn't really matter, as long as you wear and use it properly. Look, everyone is waiting for each other. They're starting the job like a genuine team. Before you begin, there's always some job site instruction. The supervisor, a foreman or crew leader, will discuss what has to be done and how it is to be done. Next, the job site is effectively secured. Incidentally, foremen may be supervising more than one crew at a time. This worker has a central anchoring point. This way, he has maximal freedom of movement. On-the-job inspections will be conducted. These will not only focus on technique, but also on compliance with safety regulations. Here, some pointers are given to increase safety. The client is also keeping a watchful eye. Stay in touch with each other while working. Here, the belt is not being used for a moment. However, your co-worker has made sure he can't trip on his own lines. Excellent. There it is, the basics of working with two lines. Once more, first attach the second line, then unhook the first one. Try to always be watchful and keep your colleagues alert. Don't wait for your supervisor or the safety specialist to notice something. When taking down scaffolding, we obviously have to have secure footing. Now, let's talk about construction methods at BIS. Here we see a colleague crossing a closed floor on his way to where some materials are needed. An area is incomplete when not all railings and floor sections are in. Areas have been color-coded for clarity. Anchoring should take place in the area adjacent to the job area where the materials are needed, as both the job area and the adjacent area are incomplete. Red is for incomplete, green for complete. Here it is once more, seen from a different angle. Your co-worker enters the red area and immediately anchors himself as high up as possible. Now let's take a look at another scaffold, a larger floor surface with partly completed areas. In the area where your co-worker is about to start work, railings have been removed to bring in supplies. This area is therefore incomplete, not finished. Hook up. To summarize, let's repeat what we've learned in this instructional video. Safety does not stop at the gate. As of today, always stay hooked up. From now on, this is a necessity and of crucial importance. Straps may be neither torn nor cut, singed nor badly frayed, and they may not be heavily soiled. Make sure the belt fits snugly, not too tight, but certainly not too loose. Always wear your belt and hook up wherever necessary. Whenever you have to get up, use a ladder. Never climb up the rosettes. Hook up right away. Never hook up to conduits or other fragile parts. Always remain attached. We won't allow you to not be hooked up. If it can be done safely, we won't do it at all. Correct each other and don't withhold others the benefit of your experience. Don't be tempted to anchor to a weak point or a fragile process pipe. Also, try to hook up as high as possible. This will limit the free fall distance. Here, the belt is not being used for a moment. However, your co-worker has made sure he can't trip on his own lines. There it is, the basics of working with two lines. First attach the second line, then unhook the first one. Anchoring should take place in the area adjacent to the job area where the materials are needed, as both the job area and the adjacent area are incomplete. It's all about getting both feet safely back on the ground at the end of our working day. These two colleagues can appreciate that. You have been watching an instructional video by BIS Industrial Services, intended to contribute to improving workers' safety on the job. Your job. Let the contents of this film sink in. Watch it again from time to time. That's what it's for. View it with your family so they know what you do at work, and you know that they know. Thanks for your attention. And last, but not least, if it can be done safely, we won't do it at all.